Alrighty, good evening, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again. I'm here to give you guys your weather forecast update for today here. So, first and foremost here, guys, we got some active weather going on across southern Arkansas at this point. Some scattered showers, even some thunderstorms down here. Going from just south of the metro at this time. May see some storms coming into the metro here shortly. Here we also have some storms over here towards the El Dorado area and Pine Bluff at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom this down and show you guys what's going on here. So these storms are relatively moving from southwest to northeast at this point here as a response to the frontal boundary beginning to make its way towards the north end. I'm going to go ahead and draw out the frontal boundary at this point. So the front right now is draped from about southern Arkansas down towards Texas up towards the Ohio Valley. It's going to continue to move northward within time here as as tropical depression Fred begins to move out, and also as the ridge of high pressure begins to build in from the east as well as we get towards the next couple of days here. Before that, as I was saying before, the showers and thunderstorms will increase as we get towards starting Wednesday and then also getting into Thursday and Friday before the ridge really takes over across Arkansas here. So we'll go over that here shortly here. But as I said before, we're watching a couple of these storms here, and I'm going to zoom down to the one down here in Eldo at this current time here along Highway 167 here. We'll have to watch out for the potential of flash flooding down there as that storm is kind of training over the same area down there in Union County at this time. So if you're out traveling around 167 at this point, just keep that in mind, especially near the El Dorado area at this time. Also, as I said before, we got some storms ongoing near Pine Bluff right now, moving to the north and east at about 15 to 20 miles per hour here. So these storms are relatively moving pretty quickly here. We've got one here near Malvern that did prompt a special weather statement over there near Malvern earlier, about 40 mile per hour wind gusts. But that storm was possible earlier. Now it's moving towards the metro here, coming up Highway 70 here towards the metro at this current time here. So we're going to zoom this out and show you guys what's going on across the board here. So before, we do have tropical depression Fred over here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on satellite imagery for you guys real quickly here. So satellite imagery here shows Fred right over here in the southeastern corner of the United States at this time, producing major flash flooding across North and South Carolina. Also several tornado warnings in this area at this point here. And to zoom this out even further here, give you guys a better perspective of what's going on. You got your ridge trying to develop across the eastern half of the country here. You got another frontal boundary that originally was supposed to make it down here to Arkansas, but it's likely going to miss us to the north and to north and northeast at this point here. Also, we got Tropical Storm Grace out here, which I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that real quickly here. So, tracking the tropics here, we do have Tropical Storm Grace here, which is forecast to become a hurricane as she begins to make her way towards the west here. And this storm, at first, we were looking at it for the potential of impacts for us here in Arkansas. Unfortunately, the ridge takes over, so impacts for Grace will likely miss us to the south here, but it is going to impact the Yucatan Peninsula, go into the Bay of Campeche, and then make a landfall in Mexico at this time. It may actually reemerge back out into the eastern Pacific and produce another system out here by the time we get towards later into next week here. And as I said before, there's Fred producing several tornado warnings here, several touchdowns earlier, flash flooding ongoing as well. Fred's going to continue to move off to the north and east here. And also we got Henry over here as well, forecast to become a Category 1 hurricane as well here. So the tropics are not going to be an issue for us here in Arkansas. However, we are still expecting rainfall over the next couple of days here, but then heat ridge takes over for much of next week. Now, with that being said, as we get towards late next week into next weekend here, and I remember this because I said the same thing last week, but we are looking at the potential of a pattern change as the heat ridge moves westward and our flow starts becoming out of the north and northwest here. So we may see a cold front try to sneak its way down here as we get towards next weekend, but right now details are still very uncertain by that point here, so we'll keep you guys updated on that. So here's your weather highlights for today here, guys. More the same. Excessive heat is likely over the next 6 to 10 days as the heat ridge begins to take over Arkansas. Marginal risk for much of central and northeast Arkansas for tomorrow, primarily for the potential of isolated damaging winds. The tornado threat is very low, however, given that you're going to have a warm front moving northward, I wouldn't rule out possibly a small tornado risk tomorrow, but I'm not expecting too much in the way of a tornado potential for tomorrow here. I was looking at some soundings earlier that was somewhat concerning, but I don't think you're going to see too big of an issue for tomorrow, primarily for the potential of isolated damaging winds as storms kind of collapse on themselves. Also, so before the stalled out front will move northward and wash out by the end of the week, which will result in hot and humid conditions across Arkansas, and the possible pattern changes get towards late next week into next weekend here as we begin to close out what has been a above normal August for us here in Arkansas. So here's your 7-day forecast for northern Arkansas here. Now, north central and northeast Arkansas, you are under that marginal risk for tomorrow. High temperatures in the low 80s, overnight lows in the upper 60s here with 70% chance of rain. A few storms could be severe. Primary danger will be for the potential of isolated damaging winds. However, we'll continue to monitor the situation closely here as we get towards Thursday and Friday. Rain chances look to decrease as the front boundary begins to wash out. High temperatures by that point rebounding back into the low 90s by the weekend. And then as we get towards next week, dangerous heat indexes, high temperatures back into the mid to upper 90s, overnight lows back in the 70s here, and heat indexes likely 105 to 110 plus, and I would be surprised to see some heat advisories as we get towards the weekend here. Now, more to say for central Arkansas here. Central and east Arkansas, you are under that marginal risk for tomorrow here. West Arkansas, you are not. However, I can't rule out an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm over there as well. High temperatures in the mid 80s, overnight lows in the low 70s here. That continues to much of the western work week here as we get towards the weekend. We begin to warm up with high temperatures making a run for 100 degrees by the time we get towards early next week here. Overnight lows back into the upper 70s here. So we'll have more than likely heat advisories by that point as well. And in southern Arkansas, more the same here. 70% chance of rain for tomorrow here. No severe threat for down there as of now. If that changes, we'll let you guys know on that. As we get towards Thursday and Friday, rain chances decrease rapidly as the frontal boundary moves well to the north of southern Arkansas. High temperatures by that point back into the low 90s. And then as we get towards next week, guys, bad news if you do not like the heat. High temperatures by that point in the low 100s, overnight lows in the upper 70s, and I can't rule out some low 80s down there, especially in southeast Arkansas with heat indexes 105 to 110 in some localized areas here. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here on your source for all things Arkansas weather.